Hello everyone and welcome to Craft Time with Ms. Fitch. If you're from Karate America Oregon, Karate America Brookfield, or Karate America Pewaukee, thanks for joining us today. So before we get started, make sure you hit like on this video and the subscribe button down below. Those will ensure that you get notified every time we upload a video. So without further ado, let's get started. Today, we're gonna be making these awesome mosaic earths. Since Earth Day is coming up on April 22nd, what better way to celebrate than making these awesome earths out of some recycled materials? So what you're gonna need for this craft today is a piece of recycled cardboard. It can be from a cardboard box, a snack box, anything you can find around the house. Now, you're also gonna need 4 colors of construction paper. You're gonna need a white one. I just cut out a couple strips. Green, a blue one, and then like a tan or a brown. And then you're also going to need the template that comes with the craft packet. So this template, you're just gonna cut it out and we're gonna use it as is. You're also gonna need scissors, a glue stick, and a pencil. So what we're gonna do first is take our template and we're gonna cut it out. So we're just gonna cut out the circle shape so we can fit it on our cardboard. So try and get it as close to the lines as possible. You want to get it nice and circular to make sure it's a circle because the earth is a circle and not a square. Fun fact. So we're going to take our earth cut out, we're going to place it down. All we're going to do is we're going to take our pencil and trace around the outside so we have that circle shape. Just like that. So now that we have our circle shape, we can cut that out with our scissors. Now, it's okay if the earth has any folds in it or whatever, it'll get flattened out as we make the mosaic. So, we're gonna set this off to the side. The next step we're gonna do is something called a graphite transfer. So what happens with a graphite transfer is we are going to actually put pencil lead or graphite on the back of the template over the line. So if you can kind of see the lines as you color over them with that pencil. So what's gonna happen is when we put it on here and line it up, and then we start to draw on those lines, the graphite that gets pushed through so it's visible onto the cardboard. So just make sure you color on the back with a pencil. Make sure every part is covered. Now when we set it on there, you're gonna place your template on and draw on the lines. To make sure it transfers. All right, so I started my graphite transfer. Now, if for some reason the lines don't start showing up on the cardboard, you can always draw on your own earth. Now what I did, since my graphite transfer started to not show up, all I did was set my earth to the side and I just looked and started drawing. You guys are totally welcome to do that as well. However you want to represent your earth, you are totally welcome to it. Now, we're gonna start cutting up our pieces of paper. So we're gonna take the blue because we're gonna start with the ocean. So we're gonna take it from the short side and we're gonna cut really thin strips for our mosaic tiles. I'd say cut about 3 or 4 strips to make sure that entire earth gets covered. Now from there, we're gonna all stack them up onto each other, make them nice and the same length. And then we're just gonna cut them into nice little squares. You can make them even, you can make them uneven. It's kind of cool if you make the uneven squares because then you get the more textured tile, which is pretty cool. So just start cutting them. If they go all over the place, you can always bring them back in. Make them different sizes, make them a little bit bigger, make them a little smaller. But we just want enough to make sure we cover the entire earth. Just like that. We're also gonna do the same for our green and brown paper, as well as our white. So we're gonna take a couple strips, cut them out, makes 3 strips out of that, perfect. And take a couple strips out of our brown. We don't need much from our brown, mainly because it's not one of the main colors in our earth. So what we can do now is we can take all of these strips, we can line them up, and we can cut them down to size. Just making nice little squares. Now if they go everywhere, that's totally okay. You can always separate them and then bring them back together in piles so you know exactly what you're working with. That one went all the way over there. All right, so we're gonna use that for right now. So we're gonna start with the ocean. Now I started with this little section right here. So what you're gonna do is just glue on that whole section, make sure it's covered. If it goes over the lines a little bit, that's totally okay. Mosaics are meant to be a little just like all over the place, but as long as you have the representation, like the area that you're supposed to do in that area, that's okay. All you're gonna do is start placing on your blue tiles. Now with these, you wanna make sure there's space in between each tile, and they can go off the earth a little bit. They can go off the template on the cardboard, because at the end, we're gonna trim everything down to make sure it looks like a circle, like the earth. So make sure there's a space. You can put them long ways, you can put them sideways. Just make sure you get on as much as you can. So that's what the beginning of the ocean will look like. When it gets to the earth, I'm gonna start here with South America. Take my glue stick, just rub it all over that little continent right there. Now, we can overlap over the blue. So we can take a couple of our green and place it on top. That's totally okay. Just make sure when you are using the green, there are spaces in between each square. So there's spaces in between each square, but the overlap over the green or the different colors is totally okay. Now what we're gonna use the brown for is making land masses. So if you wanna put on a couple pieces of brown in there to symbolize like a mountain, that's totally okay. But we're gonna do this until the entire earth is full. Now this little strip up here is gonna be white for Greenland. And then we're also gonna put a couple clouds on here just around the earth to make it look nice. So there's Iceland up at the top, or sorry, Greenland up at the top, or Antarctica, whichever you prefer. And then we have our clouds just scattered around. Once you're done with all of it, just make sure you cut off and trim off the excess. So we're gonna flip it over, take our scissors, and we're gonna just cut around the circle, making sure we get as close as possible around the outside, just like that. So it looks like that at the end. And there we have our cool little earth mosaic. Now, I'd love to see pictures of these up on our Facebook page or in the comments of this video. So again, make sure you guys leave a like on this video, subscribe, hit the notification button so you get notified whenever we make an upload. All right, I love doing this craft today with you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.